emergency services. It's a part of what the county offers to those who live here, but there's little talk about what they do unless something dangerous is coming up. Explain to people exactly what Emergency Services Department does and the size of their work relative to the size of their number of employees.
Okay, well, we have 5 people who work in emergency services, okay? They do that year-round, full-time. They also coordinate with hazmat if we have a spill or something like that. But their sole job is to prepare Anderson County for emergencies. That's what they do. If somebody drowns, they're involved in that. But they do a whole lot of pre-planning about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. The other thing that they spend a great deal of time is making sure that when we spin up the Emergency Operations Center, that they know all the players who are going to be in the Emergency Operations Center and how they're going to react and how they're going to perform their tasks. So it's very important what they do. It's a year-round job doing what they do, but they're not sitting there behind a desk going, well, we need to do this. They're actually out doing things. They're actually out looking at things that we need to fix before it's an emergency situation. And we're fortunate to have Josh Hawkins and Cade and the crew over there. They do a wonderful job. They probably are the best at it in the state. Joshua is now president of the Emergency Management Association, and he's received numerous awards, and they are dedicated, and we're just blessed to have them here.
It's not just weather. I mean, people forget if there was
a
problem with a
storm,
nuclear reactor,
anything that you would deem an emergency, they're there. They're the first on the scene with all the resources.
When something like last weekend when the ice storm happened, how many county departments are involved when they start working with them? Because I sat in on one of those meetings. Seemed like there were an awful lot of people on the line there.
Well, you're going to have roads and bridges. Naturally, you're going to have the Sheriff's Department. But you're also going to have people from DSS there. You're also going to have the Red Cross there, who's been a wonderful help to us. You're going to have people from IT to make sure that all the computers and all the radios and all of that stuff works. You're going to have different people in different parts handling what they do best. We'll have somebody from DOT, SCDOT there. We will have somebody from the National Guard who will embed with us during this process. And they're there in case, National Guard, in case somebody has to get somewhere. They have access to Humvees, so we can use those. But there are a whole lot of county people in there, because when those calls start coming in, one county roads and bridges employee can't handle it. You'll have 2 or 3. And all of them are broken up into sectors as to what you're supposed to handle. But because everybody is in that big room, if you happen to overhear somebody saying, I've got this over here, and this guy says, I got somebody going over there, you've got the Anderson County Fire Commission is in that room. You have representatives from the city of Anderson in that room. Sometimes you have representatives from different towns, but all the towns are hooked up with us, so we know what's going on, they know what's going on, and we can get resources where they need to be.
And the Sheriff's Department, and they were talking about something I wouldn't have thought about, is cars that may have slid off the road, checking to make sure nobody's in them and how to mark them.
And then you have to put the right flag on there so they will know that somebody's already checked that vehicle and nobody's in that vehicle. We are fortunate. I know some people don't like it. I'm sorry. But Hope Missions, right now, they can hold 70. Right now we have 68 in there. But what we also do is we make sure that they have food, okay? We don't supply all of their food. They get a great many donations. But emergency managers make sure they have MREs in a worst case scenario. We also work, emergency management, to set up the backup emergency shelter at the Civic Center. But we also work with the state, because they have emergency medical places. If you have a medical emergency, they can do triage over the phone. I suggest people look that up and sign up. If you have somebody in your family who is not well, you should do that. You can get that information on the emergency management page. There are also things that you can do with Duke Energy that you need to pre-sign if you have somebody who cannot be without electricity. So those are things you can do, but those are the kind of things they do all year round. We've had people put things up on Facebook that the emergency evacuation center at the Civic Center doesn't have food. Oh my goodness, Cracker Barrel and Subway, we're throwing food in there every second. And just just things get out. So.
Well, emergency management in the county sort of got a graduate school education when Hurricane Helene hit, right?
Oh, we learned a whole lot. I have to say, we were pretty good before. Not because of me, but because of all the people in emergency management. We were pretty good before. And we got through that in pretty good shape. But I will tell you this, yep, that was when you got your postdoctorate degree from that. And it has served the county well.
And you mentioned backups. There are backups to backups. I know during Helene, the library offered to open up during the day so people could come charge things and
they did
warm.
last week. They opened up on that Saturday just in the afternoon so people could get warm during the day and they could charge their phones and all of that. Yeah, so it's a total team effort and everybody does it. And everybody, and I hate to keep saying this, but all those people, the people that work for Anderson County are passionate about this. And it's not like, oh, I got to go in and do this. Like, we get to go in here and we get to go help people and we get to make a difference and it feels good.
The colder than average winter, and it looks like it's going to continue, is likely to cause more damage to county's roads.
Yep.
Any new ideas on what we can do about funding the roads and bridge repair since the
just encourage Governor McMaster to make his extra $1 billion on roads come to fruition. That would be the biggest thing we can do. But council's still looking at other ways to address the road situation. But freezing and unfreezing and freezing and unfreezing tears roads all to pieces.
That $1 billion that the governor is talking about, how will we get our part of that? How will that be
Well,
divvied up?
if you would allocate it by population to all the counties, that would be wonderful. Or if you would give part of it to SCDOT for projects that are already going on and pump up our Anderson County Transportation Commission and put a lot of that money in there so we could put it on county roads, that would be an ideal situation. But I know they're going to be working on that, and I hope that comes to fruition. There are probably $8 billion worth of roads that need to be worked on in the state, but $1 billion would be a big help. Great strides in land use. The new grading ordinance is in
Let's
effect.
talk about that. That's county council just passed the 10-year comprehensive plan. It's part of that.
Yep.
Remind people what the 10-year comprehensive plan means and then how people will be impacted.
10-year comprehensive plan is something that is required by state law. And so we are about halfway through with that, and they've approved half of it. But what that does is tell you where things are going, what you would like to see, and how to do it. It is not the Bible, okay? But it is somewhat of a roadmap on what you should do to develop your county. And so it has a lot of public input. Council people have had public meetings. You can reply in lots of different ways to have input on that. But then from that, then you take the other things like the mass grading thing, which is in effect now, which is going to have a great effect. The other thing is going from 4 lots to 3 lots is going to have a great effect.
Remember what that means. 4 lots.
In the past, you could put four houses on an acre. Now you'll be doing 3. Then the other thing that we'll have second reading Tuesday is our solar farm ordinance. That's for second reading, and it's really good right now, but I think we've got a few wrinkles that we'll do between the second and the third to make it really tight, because solar farms are great, but they're great in some locations and they're not great in other locations. And there's a lot of things that go on in that. A lot of these people that do the solar farms, well, they set them up and then they sell them. And they're gone. So there has to be some way to make sure that somebody is responsible and in charge of solar farms. Another thing, and I've heard this 1,000 times, well, at the end of this, you will be able to take the panels and sell them, and that will give you enough money to restore the land. And that's a lie, because it's not. It won't. So a bond would be necessary to make sure that was happening. And if you keep selling it, then somebody's going to have that bond. So those are the things that council's looking at to tighten that up. They're also looking at, and that will probably be coming in the next 2 to 3 council meetings. Right now, townhomes fit into a unique category where you can almost actually go in there and it doesn't go before the planning commission or county council. So I know several council members, Mr. Dunn and Mr. Davis come to mind, are looking at that. So it does have to go before the planning commission and or county council, because they want to get a handle on that. So, but the moratorium's over, and this next month in February, there are no subdivisions, no planning commission meeting. So I think people are getting adjusted to the new way of doing things in Anderson. But there are a whole lot more activities that council's looking at to strengthen this. But we're no different than Pickens, Oconee, Greenville, Spartanburg, those places.
And council is working with code right developers to put all of this stuff into plain English so the average citizen can understand
plain
it. Right?
English. I want to build X. Page 12. It says precisely what you can and cannot do, the permitting requirements, all of that.
And how far are we along on that? That's a long process.
It's probably going to be another 6 months to 8 months easily.
Okay. So it's getting closer.
Yeah, getting closer.
Council also approved traffic intensity standards. Whose idea was that, and what was that going to mean to the average person driving around?
Well, what that does, which is really good, is going to classify every road. Because now, a lot of things, you do a traffic count on the road. And a lot of those traffic counts are accurate. But hey, sometimes you might do a traffic count at 5 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, even if that never happens, this will classify a road as to what can it take and what it can do. And it's there. It's not subjective. It's clear.
And so that means if somebody wants to build a subdivision off a road that's going to be too busy, they won't be able to just go in there because of the traffic density standards.
No.
Council also recently awarded some watershed protection awards as part of the fund from the Kinder Morgan settlement over the 2014 spill. For people who don't remember that, remind what happened with that spill and what
Kinder
happened.
Morgan had a huge spill in the Belton area.
From their pipeline.
From their pipeline, and that pipeline runs all across the country. And so we found out about it. We weren't notified about it. We found out about it one night. And so we went into action, and they did this and cleaned it up and everything. Southern Poverty Law Center brought a lawsuit. The county won the lawsuit, and a sum of money was set aside to provide money for water projects to help clean up the water in Anderson County, to help it stay clean, and to also provide educational opportunities for people to understand what is and what isn't.
And so they're using that money also to monitor the lakes, rivers, and streams as a follow-up to make sure nothing else is a long-term problem.
Yes.
What else is the county doing to manage rapid growth? I know we've just talked about development standards. What other challenges come with this new population? I was looking at it since in the last 50 years, we pretty much more than doubled the population in the county.
Well, you should see what's happened in the last 5 years. South Carolina is the fastest growing state in the country, the fastest. And the upstate is the fastest growing area of that. And so people are coming here, and so you are putting these rules and regulations in place to try to have a better product. You don't want to completely stop development. You just don't want to do it. And you also want to make sure that the 2,000 students graduating every year from Anderson have job opportunities. So you're trying to manage growth, but you're also trying to provide opportunities for the young people coming up so that they can stay here and that they can do well. So another way to look at this, and people don't look at it this way, is this. You could be in a county in South Carolina where there's nothing to do, there's no development, and either you move or you are too poor to move, and it's just not a good situation. So this is a balancing act. And it's not easy for council to do it, because if it was easy, there wouldn't every council in South Carolina in the growing areas wouldn't be wrestling with it.
Well, it's the old joke about providing services. A dollar's worth of services for citizens costs $1. And that includes, the next thing I was going to ask you is the council also extended the contract with MedShore as part of the countywide EMS system. How important was that system to develop, and how has it evolved over time? Do you feel like it's been successful?
Well, I know it's been successful. I know it cost, but I think it's been very successful. I think our success rate, that number came out this week, 92% on meeting our goals, and we're very proud about that. Is we always tweaking that? Yes. But they got a 1-year extension. During that 1-year extension, the county will be putting out another bid package. And that's a very substantial bid package. And then everybody will have a chance to participate way before the end of that year to make a bid for the services in Anderson County. And some people criticize it, some people love it. But as long as we keep hitting 92% and we keep going up and the coverage is good, I think it's a very good system, filled with very qualified people, and I think it works well.
And with our aging population, it becomes even more of a challenge to meet those needs for people who need ambulances or emergency.
Look, and they will tell you this. We could literally, if we had unlimited money, we could fund one truck. And do you know what that one truck would do? It would go help people who have fallen and cannot get up by themselves. That is a fact. And that's a hard fact, but that's true.
Changing gears a little bit, any updates on the Equinox site or the other county mill sites?
Honeypath, we finally got all the money together. The town of Honeypath is reviewing the bids. They have 2 strong bids. They're in the process of deciding which contractor to use to clean up Chicola Mill. That's where they are right there on that. We are still working with the nice people in Pelzer. We're having a meeting next week with the new mayor, because not only is it the Pelzer Mill site that's involved, but the Pelzer Mill site also ties into all of the land in the town of Pelzer, so it needs to be done together so that the people of Pelzer are controlling their own destiny.
The county's already been cleaning that up.
We've already been cleaning it up, and we'll be cleaning up again. And Equinox, we're still not where I want to be on that, but we're fixing to make a change on that.
So that's news
In
coming.
Toxaway, we're still looking at transitional housing down there, so we're working on that. We have lots of interest in economic development, but we're also having some turmoil, and some companies may not be doing as well. So that's the thing we always tell people. They say, well, you have enough jobs. I don't know who's going to close up tomorrow. And some people will close up tomorrow. So you're always trying to make sure that there are enough job opportunities.
There's the Iva Mill site too, yeah.
Yep.
But you mentioned that there's unemployment's 4.8%, which sort of reflects the rest of the state. Does that seem high, or does that seem about right?
Seems about right. You're always going to have something about like that.
How about any update on what's going on at Paul's? I know we haven't talked about this much. It's been a while since they've had a director. How long will it be before they get a full-time director hired?
Well, right now we have the staff in place, and they're doing a remarkable job. They are doing such an outstanding job. Do you know this is the most significant thing I can tell you, that before the weather last week, they only had 3 dogs in the whole place because the staff found homes or found fosters. God bless them, each and every
people
one.
lined up out there to get fosters.
Well, to foster those animals, and we always hope sometimes when they foster them, they don't make their way back. They find their way into the hearts of those families. So they're doing a great job. We just had a very nice lady, I won't mention her name because she didn't want to, and she just left an unrestricted grant, $250,000 to the animal shelter. And that happens all the time. Some of them are restricted for this, but she just passed away and left that money, which goes into our fund and improve the facility. County Council gave additional money to the Anderson County Humane Society to help them with their spay and neuter program. Tri-County Tech has a vet tech program. I give all the credit to Matt Hogan on this, but somehow that tie got severed. I don't know. But he has reestablished that. And now we have our people who work at our shelter can get their vet tech license degree for free from Tri-County Tech. And they will be taking some of our animals, and then they will be sending people here to help us. And plus, we're having some exciting conversations with the new Clemson Veterinary School up there. So there are a lot of good things that are going on out there.
And y'all are still looking for a director for Paul's?
Well, we will, but right now we have some ladies out there who've stepped up, and everything is running incredibly well.
That sort of leads into this year's budget. Where is the budget process at this minute, and what are the big challenges for this year's budget?
The big challenges is a whole lot of things that we have to do. We started tightening our belt. We never have been crazy spenders, but it's going to be a tough budget year. But council's already had some meetings and looking at it and things to do and how you can do this and that. But it's going to be tough. Guarantees it's going to be tough.
Any big economic development announcements on the immediate horizon?
We're hoping that we're going to have some real nice announcements here pretty quick. We turned some people who wanted to come be with us yesterday. We told them, really, that would be, you might want to go somewhere else. I don't think we need you. So it's
People
been
forget that the county doesn't just, anybody wants to come here, you say, y'all come on in.
No, I mean, like, we've had battery manufacturers. Well, that's good. No.
Distribution center kind of stuff.
Low-paying
jobs.
Battery recyclers. No, we're good. We're good. Uranium people. No, we're fine. We don't need you. And no, you're not going to be welcome, and we're not going to do anything to help you. And a whole lot of that goes on that people don't know about.
The copper all around the historic courthouse is really, and I overstate this, people tease me about it, but it's nothing short of stunning if you've seen it. When is this going to be complete, the scaffolding down, so people can see all this copper and all this really nice?
We're hoping by the end of February, but then when we have weather events like we have, it slows it down. But I can tell you tonight, and this is Friday, January the 30th, that the lights will be lit back up on the top of the courthouse.
Okay.
So that's just another step getting closer.
But I've heard a lot of comments on it, but this copper around the building on the downspouts and on the trim and stuff really is pretty amazing. And it really is just in time for the kickoff for the county's big celebration of the bicentennial year. Remind people some of the things that are coming up.
There's a new book that's going to be coming out on the history of Anderson County. We're looking to have a parade. The museum's working with the Art Center to do some art things, recognizing our past. And there are a whole lot of other events that are taking place because we think 200 years is important, but also the fact that it's 250 years, of the United States. That's pretty cool, and it all happened at the same time. So we're going to be having a lot of things going on and hoping people will be involved and hoping people take pride and feel something about that. And we've got more historical monuments going up, the outlining the history of Anderson County. So we're happy about that too.
Not quite a bicentennial, but the Honey Path Garden Club marked its 85th year of service to the community. I know you're pretty well aware of the group and the work that they do down there.
I'm very well aware of that garden club. Those are wonderful people. I love them. They do everything they can to make Honey Path a better place. And they're just wonderful ladies, and I love each and every one of them. And they work so hard, and they're just wonderful.
And finally, I didn't want us to finish this up without talking about a good friend of ours who just passed, Gertz Eaton, somebody who had a tremendous impact on this community. And like I said, we were both friends with him for a long time. How long did you know Gertz?
I guess I remember the first time I met Gertz. He was on the Anderson City Council, and we were trying to get something done for the county, so I had to go meet with him. And he poked fun at me just right then. I mean, he just, he wasn't like, "Hey, how are you? It's good to see you." He started just right off, and I just fell in love with him. And he was wonderful, and he was funny, and he was witty, and he did so many things that people don't have any idea that he did. I mean, he was a judge. He graduated from Emory, Georgia Tech. If I remember correctly, his mama and daddy both taught at Georgia Tech. And he was a character, but a wonderful character, and a lot of fun, and a great wit. And the world is a lesser place because Gertz isn't in it.
And we can't replace these elders that are leaving our community anymore.
No, you cannot. They added so much character and charm to this community.